Today, we recap the new season of Jurassic World Chaos Theory, which aired in 2024. At the beginning of the series, a group of agents devised a plan to safely remove a dinosaur named Penosasaurus. However, during their mission, one of the agents named Mike became frightened and accidentally shot a tranquilizer at the dinosaur. This provoked the dinosaur's anger, but fortunately, another character named Darius came to the rescue. Darius cautiously approached the dinosaur and successfully managed to pacify it. Upon closer inspection, Darius noticed that the dinosaur had a wire stuck in its paw. With the intention of providing relief, Darius decided to remove the wire. Once the wire was extracted, the dinosaur became even more calm, allowing Darius to feed it. Darius then shared an embrace with his former boss, Ronnie. Tragically, a sorrowful incident occurred resulting in Brooklyn's demise. This prompted Darius to leave the team and embark on a quest to find the dinosaur that had attacked his friend. According to Darius, the Allosaurus had been spotted in the vicinity. Suddenly, the Allosaurus emerged and attempted to capture another animal. In response, Penosasaurus prepared to defend itself and utilized its pointed crest to strike the Allosaurus. Just as the Allosaurus was about to devour Ronnie, Darius swiftly intervened to protect her and attempted to shoot the dinosaur with his rifle. Regrettably, the dinosaur managed to escape, compelling Darius to pursue it relentlessly. He hopped into his car and trailed the dinosaur, but unfortunately, his tire was punctured, resulting in the loss of the dinosaur. Upon returning home, Darius watched an interview he and his friends had given after being rescued from Nibbler Island. Following the island's destruction, they were deemed eliminated and had to fend for themselves for nearly a year before reintegrating into society. That night, Darius heard a noise outside and suspected it might be a dinosaur. He swiftly grabbed his stun gun, opened the door, and prepared to defend himself, but is surprised by the arrival of Ben, who luckily manages to get out unharmed. Of all his friends at the camp, he used to be the smallest and most fearful. However, now he has grown into a tall and courageous young man. Upon entering Darius's house, Ben starts to turn off the lights and reveals that both he and his friends from the Jurassic camp are in danger. The young man believes that someone is trying to hunt them down as he has received several anonymous threats. According to him, Brooklyn's demise was no coincidence, and the person who eliminated her is after all the other members of the team. When he hears this story, Darius doesn't believe it's true, but he soon realizes that there's a dinosaur on the other side of the window. Immediately, the pair try to hide, but the animal breaks into the house. Darius runs to get his stun gun, and soon after, another raptor appears and attacks Ben. The young man uses a table as a shield to protect himself and manages to electrocute the creature. After escaping from the house, the two friends come across a new dinosaur and run to the car. The problem is that Darius left the keys in the cabin, and they both have to run to Ben's van. When they get into the vehicle, Darius gives the dinosaur quite a shock, and they finally manage to escape. However, it isn't long before two other predators start chasing them, but Ben manages to lose them on the road. After almost being devoured by the raptors, Darius realizes that Ben may be right, and the pair decide to go to Texas to find Sammy. On the way, Ben decides to stop to fill up the van, and Darius takes the opportunity to go to the toilet. Suddenly, the Nudoceratops, who was taking a nap at the gas station, gets up and starts sharpening his horns. He ends up getting stuck, and Darius tries to calm him down while his friend figures out how to get the animal out. Suddenly, two more dinosaurs of the same kind appear out of nowhere, causing Nudoceratops to become agitated and try to break free. In the chaos, the creature accidentally starts a fire, and the flames quickly spread throughout the gas station. Ben rushes to help the animal and manages to grab a fire extinguisher, successfully putting out the fire before it reaches the fuel pumps. When they see Nudoceratops reuniting with its family, Ben and his friend feel a sense of pride for their actions. They decide to stock up on food before continuing their journey. A few hours later, they finally arrive at their friend's house, but they immediately notice the smell of smoke. Worried, they quickly run to open the door and find Sammy. Overjoyed, Sammy runs to hug her friends and informs them that she accidentally burned her pie. Despite the mishap, she invites them to dinner. As they sit down to eat, Sammy introduces Ben and Darius to her pet dinosaur, Bumpy, whom she has adopted on Nibbler Island. However, when they reach the barn where Bumpy is kept, they realize that she has managed to escape. Without hesitation, the trio sets off to search for the missing dinosaur. Finally, Ben finds Bumpy and rushes to embrace her. It has been several years since he last saw her, but Bumpy immediately recognizes him and returns the affection, as she had also missed him. Suddenly, an unfamiliar vehicle approaches, and the driver speeds towards them. In a protective move, Bumpy attacks the vehicle and sends it flying. After the driver, Carl, manages to escape the wreckage, he threatens to harm the dinosaur. Sammy steps in to defend Bumpy, and Ben tries to defuse the situation. Eventually, Carl leaves, and the three friends hurry back home. Once they are safe, Ben reveals that someone is trying to hunt them down. He doesn't know who these people are, but he suspects they are the same ones responsible for Brooklyn's demise. Upon hearing this, Sammy decides to gather supplies and meet up with Kenji and Yas to prepare for the journey ahead. Suddenly, the lights in the house go out and Ben grabs a flashlight to check on the bump. When he steps outside, he spots Carl's truck and heads towards it. However, upon looking inside the car, Ben and Darius realize that the man has been taken out. They quickly realize that they have been discovered by the raptors and need to find a hiding spot. While Ben goes to free Bumpy, Darius goes after Sammy, who has already sensed the presence of the predators. As Ben approaches the paddock, he notices a dinosaur on the roof and quickly hides inside the barn. Using his own scent, the clever young man manages to lure and trap the raptor. He then opens the enclosure so that Bumpy can escape. Meanwhile, Darius and Sammy continue their attempts to escape from the predators. After narrowly avoiding elimination, the three friends finally reunite in the van to save the humans. Bumpy decides to confront the raptor and successfully scares it away, allowing the trio to escape. A few minutes later, a mysterious man appears and uses a flute to control the dinosaurs. They obediently enter a truck headed towards Kenji's house. Ben can't help but worry about Bumpy, but Darius reassures him that she will be fine. Suddenly, they hear a siren and are forced to pull over as the DPW trucks approach. These vehicles are responsible for transporting the captured dinosaurs, including the Allosaurus that eliminated Brooklyn. After making way for the trucks, Ben and the other drivers continue their journey. A few hours later, the trio finally arrives at Kenji's trailer. They inform him that he is in danger as someone is using the dinosaurs to attack the members of the Jurassic camp. During their conversation, Sammy reveals that she has found an old map of Brooklyn with an address marked nearby. These notes were made shortly before her demise. Darius believes that the place may hold clues about what happened. Upon analyzing the map, Kenji discovers that this is the exact location where his father resides. Everyone is taken aback by this revelation when suddenly, the ground starts to tremble. Peering out of the window, the young group comes across a herd of Parasaur Alphas crossing the road, causing quite a scare. In response, Sammy decides to leave and try to talk to Yas, while Kenji tries to comprehend why Brooklyn went to speak with his father amidst all the controversy surrounding Mantha Corp. Due to the ongoing turmoil, Daniel was arrested and now resides in a closely monitored institution where he is under constant surveillance 24/7. After being abandoned on the island with the intention of being eliminated, Kenji has developed a deep hatred towards his father and refuses to communicate with him. Shaken by the news, the young man grabs his backpack and ventures off alone into the forest. Meanwhile, Sammy reveals that Yas is not answering her phone, causing her to worry about her friend's well-being. Filled with concern, she decides to take matters into her own hands and steals the keys to Ben's van to go after Yas. However, the young man decides to accompany her. On the other hand, Darius needs to stay behind and keep Kenji company, as he would be completely vulnerable if left alone. With no other choice, Darius embarks on a journey through the forest in search of his friend. After a while, Darius finds Kenji attempting to climb a waterfall. Determined to reach him, Darius starts climbing as well, and minutes later, they both reach the top. Ever since Brooklyn's demise, Kenji has held a grudge against Darius because he had promised to protect her when Kenji and Brooklyn were dating. Their relationship ended just a few days before she was eliminated. Despite this, Kenji also feels guilty for not being able to safeguard her and decides to visit his father the following day. That night, Bumpy has an unfortunate encounter with the DPW agents and ends up being captured. The next morning, on their way to Yas's house, Ben and Sammy decide to make a pit stop at a themed diner adorned with dinosaur-themed decorations reminiscent of the island Nobler. As the doors swing open, Bobby, who refers to himself as the king of the dinosaurs, begins his presentation with the help of a collar. He proceeds to showcase a patch Coelosaurus. Ben and Sammy realize that the animal is indeed impressive. Ben and Sammy quickly notice that the animal is extremely tired, so they come up with a plan to release all the dinosaurs once they enter the makeshift park. Ben uses a set of tools to unlock the door, and they manage to remove the collars from the stressed-out dinosaurs. However, chaos ensues as the animals start fighting each other, creating a loud commotion. Bobby, upon hearing the noise, arrives to investigate the situation. To his surprise, he discovers that Ben and Sammy have set the dinosaurs free. Bobby tries to retrieve them, but the creatures go on a rampage, causing destruction throughout the park. In the midst of the chaos, Ben and Sammy seize the opportunity to escape. Unfortunately, Bobby catches up with them, but Sammy bravely fights him off before they make their getaway. Meanwhile, the dinosaurs manage to get their revenge on Bobby and flee into the forest. In the meantime, Kenji and Darius pay a visit to Daniel to inquire about his involvement in Brooklyn's disappearance. Kenji questions why they met just days before his ex-friend was attacked. Daniel insists on speaking privately with his son, revealing that there is a new project in the works that he wants Kenji to be a part of. However, Kenji refuses to be manipulated by his father, knowing that his reputation has been tarnished in the media. Daniel, aware that convincing Kenji won't be easy, proposes a deal. He offers to disclose everything he knows about Brooklyn if Kenji agrees to become the CEO of their family's new company. Furious, Kenji walks away and seeks Darius' opinion on the matter. It becomes clear to Kenji that becoming his father's puppet is undoubtedly the worst choice. Determined to break free, Kenji decides to leave. However, Daniel finally reveals why Brooklyn had visited him. He explains that she had approached him to discuss smuggling dinosaurs and expressed her desire to be a part of the operation. According to Daniel, there was a distinct change in Brooklyn's demeanor. Her eyes revealed a sudden coldness and insensitivity during their conversation. Darius soon realizes that something is amiss. Before long, a raptor emerges, ready to attack. As Daniel walks away, he falls to the ground, on the brink of elimination. However, an unknown woman comes to their rescue, using a flute to control the dinosaurs. The predators turn away from Daniel and head towards the young man. In order to protect his son, the man bravely fights off the raptor, becoming their new target. Witnessing his father's gruesome demise, Kenji goes into shock. Darius, still shaken, pulls his friend into the forest. Just as they are about to be attacked, a car runs over the raptors, saving them. Unaware of the tragedy that befell their friends, Sammy persistently tries to reach her friend. Finally, Yas answers the phone. Upon learning that Sammy and Ben are en route to Wyoming, Yas inquires about their visit. Her friend promises to explain everything in person. Now that Yas is safe, Sammy feels relieved. A few hours later, the two friends arrive at their destination, an isolated island where Yas attends university. Surprisingly, the island is devoid of dinosaurs. Despite this, Sammy harbors fears of impending danger and decides to confess the truth to her friend. Embracing her, Sammy reveals that all the survivors from Jurassic Camp are being hunted, necessitating their escape. However, Yas believes that the island is the safest place for them, as it has been designed to keep danger at bay. As Yas introduces her friends to the island, she showcases the advanced security system in place to detect any potential dinosaur threats. Additionally, there are tools that generate lifelike holograms of dinosaurs that look exactly like the real ones, ensuring the safety of the island's inhabitants. At this point, the couple discusses what to do next. Sammy decides to leave, while Yas chooses to stay on the island, unsure of what to do. Ben takes advantage of the little time left on the island to talk to Yas. Suddenly, they hear the sound of dinosaurs, which startles the two friends. They realize that the hologram has been turned off. They hear screams and discover that the island has been invaded by a real dinosaur. In a panic, the pair runs to the van. Yas tries to call her friend, but there is no answer. As Ben's van approaches, Sammy realizes they are being chased by a dinosaur. Yas opens the door for her to get in, but the predator catches up to them and tries to destroy the vehicle. During the attack, Yas helps Sammy into the van and they finally manage to escape. However, as they approach the gate, a new dinosaur appears, surrounding them. A DPW truck arrives on the scene, but instead of shooting at the dinosaurs, the agents puncture the van's tires. With nowhere to run, Ben and his friends are at the mercy of the dinosaur attacks. The vehicle is pushed into the ocean. Even after the accident, the predator continues to attack the van. Water starts to enter the vehicle, and the trio must escape before it floods. After Kenji's father's death, Kenji suffers a panic attack and has to leave the car to calm down. Darius hugs his crying friend and manages to comfort him. When they finally see the man who saved them, they realize he is a DPW agent. According to Darius, that individual was present on the night Brooklyn was eliminated. Kenji attacks him, but Mato claims not to be involved in the girl's demise. He promises to explain everything once they are back on the road at the bottom of the ocean. Ben and his friends attempt to open the van door to escape, but the water pressure prevents them from doing so. Fortunately, the dinosaur that was trying to eliminate them runs out of air and pushes the vehicle towards the surface. When the door finally opens, just as they manage to escape, they realize that the DPW agents are still on the bridge. They decide to hide in the truck and return to the car. Kenji begins to question Mato, and the man reveals that he used to be a truck driver for the DPW, responsible for transporting the dinosaurs. One day, he was asked to work overtime, and since he had a daughter to support, Mato accepted. Although he knew it was illegal, he didn't mind because no one had been harmed so far. However, one night, when Mato arrived at the designated location, he found himself alone in the middle of the forest. Suddenly, the dinosaur started to struggle, and Mato realized it wasn't sedated as usual. The technological lock opened, and the Allosaurus escaped from its cage, leaving Mato terrified. He hid behind a bush and heard the screams of a young woman. Fearful for his own life, Mato couldn't do anything to help her. Minutes later, when he finally gathered the courage to come out of hiding, he discovered a pool of blood. Shortly after, Darius appeared with a group of policemen, but the Allosaurus managed to escape. After this incident, Mato decided to leave the DPW and began searching for Darius. He felt guilty for the harm he had caused his friend and wanted to make it up to him. Mato shared his whole story with Mateo and handed Brooklyn's cell phone to Darius. He revealed that he found the dev just before Darius arrived. Kenji discovered that his ex-friend had an apartment 40 minutes away from their location, so he decided to go there. After leaving Kenji and Darius, Mato went his own way and wished them good luck. When they entered the apartment, they began investigating and Darius found some suspicious data on the computer. It seemed that Brooklyn was involved in an illegal dinosaur buying and selling market. The pile of money hidden in her closet confirmed this theory, along with a note signed by DK, who they believed to be Kenji's late father, Daniel Kahn. Determined to uncover Brooklyn's secrets, they took their friend's motorcycle to the location of the next transaction. The next morning, after hiding for hours in a dinosaur cage, they realized there was another predator in the cage next to them. This predator was not sedated and became furious upon seeing the humans. It struggled until they reached the agreed location, where the agents opened the gates to empty the truck. The three friends managed to escape unnoticed when the lights came on. They stumbled upon an enclosure filled with dinosaurs of different species and were spotted by Dudley Cabrera, one of the directors of DPW. When they realized Dudley was not involved in the attack, Yas decided to tell him what happened. However, Sammy didn't trust Dudley and took him down so that his friends could escape. While concealing themselves, they hear a familiar cry and decide to investigate. It doesn't take long for Sammy and Ben to locate Bumpy. Immediately, Ben attempts to open the door while Sammy and Yas distract the guard. Their friend successfully frees the Anasaurus. After waiting for a few hours, Kenji and Darius witness the arrival of two DPW trucks. They realize that the agents are transferring the dinosaur from one vehicle to another in an attempt to identify the culprits behind the purchase. The pair decides to follow them and continue the investigation on a motorcycle. While trying to escape from the agents, Sammy and Yas manage to steal a car and lure the security guard into the dinosaur enclosure. After freeing Bumpy, Ben senses something is wrong with her and hears approaching guards. Unnoticed by the guards, they load the Ankylosaurus onto a truck. Ben decides to accompany Bumpy as he is unsure of the destination. Immediately, Yas and Sammy pursue them and arrive at a warehouse where the smugglers are keeping the dinosaurs. Unbeknownst to them, Kenji and Darius have just arrived as well. While the security guards are occupied with an escaped Pinacosaurus, Kenji and Darius successfully break into the facility. Meanwhile, Ben remains trapped in the truck and realizes that Bumpy is in distress. When the staff come to retrieve her, he manages to escape through the emergency door. He is devastated when he witnesses his friend being electrocuted. Knowing he cannot take on the smugglers alone, Ben decides to hide until an opportunity arises to free Bumpy. While in hiding, Kenji and Darius discover that Sammy and Yas are also in the warehouse. They devise a plan to divert the guards' attention, ensuring their friends won't be discovered. Kenji then grabs onto the beams on the ceiling and quickly reaches them. Soon after, Darius shows up and hugs the group before going after Ben. They see Bumpy's cage being taken to a boat, so the young man runs to catch up with her. Along the way, he meets his friends with Kenji's help. Together, they manage to open the container and Sammy is shocked to see Bumpy in that state. However, she quickly realizes what's happening and everyone is relieved to discover that Ankylosaurus has just given birth. Thankfully, Bumpy is okay and all the worry was because the egg was stuck. Just when everything seems fine, Dudley appears and reveals that he sent the Allosaurus after Brooklyn. Ben attacks him, but gets electrocuted. Sammy knocks Dudley out with a kick and they all run for help. As they're about to escape, they come across the woman who sent the raptors after them. Surprisingly, Dudley didn't know she wanted to harm the kids and decides to fire her. However, she has already taken control of the operation and orders her dinosaurs to eliminate the director. After devouring him, the dinosaurs smell the youngsters and Swiona orders them to find them. Hearing the sound of a flute, the 5 friends try to run away but get surrounded. Just as they're about to be attacked, a truck comes crashing in, destroying everything in its path. Mato appears and helps the youngsters up. Some dinosaurs manage to break free and attack the guards. Even with their master unconscious, the raptors continue to chase their target. However, they encounter a new opponent when the T-Rex, freed from captivity, fights against them but gets defeated. When Darius notices his friends are surrounded, he takes a daring step and chooses to release the Allosaurus. With a stun gun in hand, he lures the creature onto the battlefield, forcing the raptors to band together to overcome yet another foe. As the battle rages on, the group seizes an opportunity to escape. However, their respite is short-lived as the T-Rex emerges victorious, asserting its dominance with a thunderous roar before departing. Just when everything seems settled, Esway awakens and commands the raptors to attack once more. The trio, already battered from their encounter with the T-Rex, is gravely injured. The woman decides to flee with them upon hearing approaching police sirens. Determined to uncover the mastermind behind it all, Darius and his friends board the boat, transporting the dinosaurs to their buyers. As they bid farewell, Mato vows to ensure the safety of the remaining dinosaurs in the warehouse. Unbeknownst to them, Brooklyn is alive and hiding, her motives shrouded in mystery. What are your thoughts on this series? Share in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe for more series and movie recaps. Thanks for watching.